Well, I just want to start off this video very quickly by pointing to something else that just came to my attention, and that is that Nicola Wee Thinlips is talking about there now being a possibility masks will be worn in schools. Now, children aren't supposedly affected by this COVID-19, quote unquote, so why are we going to muzzle children? You know, it's one thing that you have to muzzle the bulk of the populace in general and force them to walk around and dehumanise them when they go to buy the bananas at Tesco's and whatnots, but they don't need to wear it in the bank. It's funny that. But it's another thing entirely to do with the children. So any parents out there that watch my stuff, just know what's potentially coming down the pipeline. Speaking of children, that brings me, of course, to the latest in a long line of shit shows here in Rainbow Unicorn Land, and that is Scotland's biggest anti-racism step in North Lanarkshire is given the green light, and we've got a beautiful little new Scot here, of course. Perfect little Scottish name here, Janiad Asrad or whatever. You know, anti-racism, anybody that's followed my channel for any length of time will know exactly what anti-racism really is, despite what they claim to be. You know, I'll give you the wee lowdown. Essentially, they claim whiteness is the problem. Essentially, they claim that our society, our systems and whatnots are all built on the back of whiteness and racism and white supremacy, etc., etc. And the only way to achieve what they claim as equality is to dismantle said systems and to rebuild them. Rather communistic in attitude, if you ask me, rather communistic in ideology. Marxism, whatever you will. The point of the matter is, though, it's not what they claim in relation to when they're having media appearances or how the media try to spin their little narrative. The point of the matter is they're anti-white. In this case, they're anti-Scottish. Realistically, this is not about achieving equality. These are not oppressed minorities that just want equality. They're given so much airtime, they get what they want, they're pandered to, and I wonder why that is. If we were such a racist country, this shit wouldn't fly. If we were such a racist country, this little wanker wouldn't have a job. But the fact that they're targeting children, in many videos that I've made now, I have pointed to the fact that they are going after children. More people need to put their attention on this stuff. This isn't me tooting my own horn here. This stuff fucking annoys me. It really does annoy me. And I don't even have a child, but it fucking annoys me. So anyway, we have here the local authorities bid to make the biggest anti-racism step in Scotland moved forward after members passed new rules for the council and classrooms. And do people in this area have a say in this? Do they have a say in what you intend to implement into their children's classrooms? Or is it just some little circle jerk at the Progressive Council meetings, nah? Two separate motions aimed at eliminating racial quote-unquote injustice. I mean, what the fuck does that mean? I'm sorry for the swearing there. And discrimination were put before North Lanarkshire Council's latest full meeting. Ruling Labour councillors and members of the SNP opposition united to back a call, of course they did, to teach pupils the unadulterated history of our country, including the ugly truth about war, slavery and empire, with a specialist training rolled out to teaching staff to deliver those lessons. But again, it's just one-sided shit. You don't teach children about all the ills that have happened in the past from every ethnic group, from every religion and whatnot. No, it's just a continual white man bad narrative. That's all this is. The unadulterated truth. I mean, we know what happened. We know our history. But what we don't know is things like the Ottoman Empire, you know, the Barbary slave trade, you know, a plethora of massacres and ills that have been committed by individuals and groups out there. But we don't talk about these issues. No, we don't. Because all we ever seem to do is focus on anything that can make the dominant or the majority group feel bad. And that's what this is. Anyway, with specialist training rolled out to teaching staff to deliver these lessons, you know, it's funny, you get these little activists to come in and try to reshape the worldview of teachers. You know, this isn't the first time, it rings a bell, this isn't the first time that I've brought this up. There was something else that happened a while ago. I think it was in relation to hate crime training or something. Sorry, just forgive me because I can't remember. It was about 8 months ago. Anyway, they also voted yes to a joint bid to bring in citizens from ethnic minorities for a new working group aimed at changing the culture of the council and its region from street to boardroom level. Now this comes down to, again, if we're all the same, but just different colours. There's no differences between us. Then why do we need specifically ethnic minorities to come in and do what they claim to change the culture of the council and its region? That to me suggests that you are putting people into these positions who are brown or black, who share the same worldview as yourselves. It's ridiculous. They're allowed to work in their own group interests. They're allowed to do as they please, but we can't do the same. They're going to change the region. They're going to change the council, the culture of its council. I mean, are the people in this area happy about this? I don't think they are, I don't think they are. And of course, it says here that the work was inspired by the BLM Marxist movement. I mean, well, that just sums this up. It says that this will include a critical, operative word here, critical race theory and whatnot, re-examination of the area's street names, statues, schools and other buildings to establish which of these, if any, pay homage to those engaged in racist exploitation, as well as a rethink of all policy areas to root out anything that keeps ethnic minority residents at disadvantage. But nothing keeps them at disadvantage. Again, it's a level playing field, it's a meritocracy, and the minute you start fucking around with said meritocracy, it's no longer one. But of course that's the point, because it's about shoving our people, ethnic Scottish people, to the bottom and lifting these people up in some fabricated attempt to achieve equity under the guise of equality. The move by councillors Paul Kelly of Labour and SNP brothers Danish and Jeanette Asraf was revealed in the Sunday National. The three said joint working was essential to ensure the move was about more than party politics. What? Now this newspaper can confirm that the parties will co-chair the new working group to deliver fundamental change. And you know, this is just Lanarkshire, North Lanarkshire to be precise, but this is going to continuously happen. I said about 2 months ago in one of the anti-racist videos that I made when they were talking about the BLM and all this stuff and the peak of the George Floyd hysteria, I said that they were going to roll this shit out in schools. I showed you some of the links and the resources that were being conjured up, and lo and behold, here we go. There's it happening now. If it can happen here, it'll happen anywhere else or elsewhere. So it says that the education motion was supported by all but the Tories. Well, I'll give the Tories a bit of credit in that respect. Cumbernauld North Councillor Danish Ashraf said, "To our knowledge, this is the single largest step in Rainbow Unicorn Land towards decolonising education in any council. This expansion and strengthening of our curriculum to include the reality of the former British Empire, colonialism, and the many generations lost to the transatlantic slave trade is well overdue." You know, again, it's just this one-sided, skewed version of events. Decolonising the curriculum, making it less white. You know, we don't want to teach them. We don't want to teach the children anything that could make them proud of their ancestry. Anything that made them, that they could relate to and whatnot. Now we need to teach them the ills of their ancestors. We need to scrap any positives they did and focus specifically on the negatives. And again, if we're going to teach them about the ills of the transatlantic slave trade, why not teach them about modern day slavery? Why not teach them about the Barbary slave trade? Why not teach them about the fact that whites were even enslaved? No, we won't do that, will we? No, we fucking won't. This is a huge victory for Scotland. What about the Scots that were enslaved and sent to America? Eh? Nah, we won't do that. This is a huge victory for Scotland, as we all benefit. It's a victory for Scotland, is it? No, it's a victory for the ethnic minorities that share your worldview. And this is the point here. I don't see how this is a victory for children, because that's who you're targeting here. That's who the fuck has been targeted here. As we all benefit from the truth being taught, and of course in particular for descendants of former colonies and Afro-Caribbean ancestry. Oh, you're not even from there. Brother Juniad, or whatever, who represents Cumbernauld South, said, or added, "With the passing of this composite motion to endorse BLM movement, North Lanarkshire Council has the ability to be at the forefront in the most progressive change for race equality," which you've already got, dickhead. You're in, I mean, look what you're in. Your jobs. You wouldn't be there. I mean, it's just, it's mind-boggling. The country is overwhelmingly white. Most positions are filled by whites. If it was racist, they'd all be filled by whites. You wouldn't have a job. In fact, you probably wouldn't even be here. So anyway, sorry, I'm just so wound up with this. I've even lost my place. Jesus. Aye. So it says here, the progressive change of race equality within Scotland. This is truly the proudest moment of my political career today, is it aye? It took real courage. These words, solidarity, inclusion, courage. I mean, you're just so fucking namby-pamby, man. To bring forward this proposal, or these proposals, to take a long, hard look at ourselves. Ourselves! But the thing is, though, it's not you, is it? It's us! Ourselves! What are you talking about? What, are you related to my ancestry now? No, if we're going to take a long, hard look at ourselves, why don't we talk about your history? No, we won't. It's Scotland's history. So there, right there, you indirectly acknowledge that we're different. But anyway. And really question if we are being inclusive of everyone. We will review all statues, historical symbols, buildings and schools in North Lanarkshire to properly understand their context and history. We also seek to decolonise the curriculum, set up community-wide ethnic minority cross-party group with real power to make recommendations to the council and reflect on the challenges to race equality within North Lanarkshire. Well, can we not set up an ethnically Scottish one then, no? Are we not allowed to do that? No, we're not. And the thing is, you might argue that Scotland, ethnic Scots have already got one because the council, I presume, is overwhelmingly white. But the fact of the matter is, they don't. They don't. There is nothing there for ethnic Scots. There's nothing there for us. But you want things put in place for you. This is the point. You live in an overwhelmingly white country and you claim that makes you oppressed. So you want to rectify said oppression by setting up things that specifically and exclusively benefit you. But there is nothing there for us that give us that same power. Decolonise the curriculum. You fucking... Oh, wow, man. North Lanarkshire is leading Scotland in race equality, and I cannot wait for us all to make a success of these new proposals. SNP Group Equalities Officer Council Junid Ashrad said, "This anti-racist motion passed today is very personal to me. Of course it's because you're brown. Now in North Lanarkshire, when boys and girls who have the same background as I do, as an ethnic minority Scot, you're not a Scot, you're not Scottish. You can't be an ethnic minority Scot. Scottish people are an ethnic group in and of themselves. You are an ethnic minority living in Scotland. I'm sorry. You can make this fucking argument about being British if you want, but you're not Scottish." Go to school, they can feel as if their history and reality is being taught them. I mean, this makes no sense. So you want to teach children, ethnic minority children, about how hard done by their ancestors were at the hands of whitey, and you claim that's going to make them feel better? I mean, okay. My history as a third generation Scots Pakistani. You're not a Scots Pakistani individual. You're a Pakistani living in Scotland. There is a difference here. This is what they're doing. It was never taught in school. I mean, my history as a third generation Scots Pakistani was never taught in school. Oh, I'm sorry. I was never told about the shared history that my heritage has with the nation I call home. By teaching the history of the Commonwealth and transatlantic slave trade in full, we can improve community cohesion. Whether I mean, kind of funny way of showing it. Like, I am disappointed we did not have cross-party consensus on this motion today, and the Conservative Party chose to vote against teaching our history, as it might damage their perspective of the Empire, and instead tried to frame the debate as a divide over the Constitution. Nonetheless, I am proud of the Rainbow Unicorn Party group for committing to progress, race equality, and tackle so-called racial injustice in North Lanarkshire Council. I mean, you people, man, you're fucking scumbags, yeah? Anyway, I'm so sorry for all the swearing there, but anyway, peace.